Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
It was Monday, February 6, 2022. Jury selection was about to begin in the trial of 16-year-old Aiden Fucci, a trial that many trial watchers had marked on their calendars and were looking forward to watching. It was going to be live-streamed. About a year prior, in May 2021, Aiden Fucci had been arrested and charged with doing something horrific.
To say that it was horrific could arguably be made as an understatement. The medical examiner completed an autopsy on our victim and identified confidently that there were 114 stab wounds. 114.
After months of denying he did anything wrong, he would finally have his day in court. Wearing a suit and tie and seated at the defense table, Aiden and his attorneys suddenly stood up to address the court. Aiden had something to say. This is Jillian, and in partnership with Law and Crime, you are listening to Court Junkie. May 9th, 2021 was Mother's Day, and at approximately 10 o'clock that morning, Tristyn Bailey called 911 to report her daughter, 13-year-old Tristyn Bailey, missing. According to the police report, Stacy was upset and distraught throughout the entire call. She said Tristyn, who was 5'4" and 130 pounds, was last seen at about midnight by another sibling. She had never known Tristyn to sneak out of the house before, but she nor her cell phone were anywhere to be found. Stacy said when she tried to call it, it went straight to voicemail, and the cell phone locations and Snapchat locations were turned off. Not only that, but Tristyn, who also had the Life 360 app on her phone, had stopped sharing her location. The 911 dispatcher asked Stacy to search the house, room by room, while remaining on the phone. Stacy said she and other family members had already done that. No sign of Tristyn. Stacy told the dispatcher that Tristyn had been hanging out with other kids in the neighborhood a lot, and that she was involved with 3 different cheerleading squads. She noted that Tristyn hadn't seemed upset before going to bed, but that she had been standoffish lately and spent a lot of time in her room. As investigators began looking into her disappearance and interviewing Tristyn's family members and friends, they were able to start piecing together a timeline. Earlier in the night, the Bailey family had gone out to dinner, then visited one of their adult daughters. They returned home around 11:45 that night. Tristyn's sister, called SB in the police report, told investigators she saw Tristyn in the garage at about midnight. She was on a video call with an unknown male wearing a backwards white baseball cap. Tristyn herself was wearing a white cheer shirt and dark shorts. At 9:40 the following morning, Tristyn's siblings were making a Mother's Day breakfast when they went to go wake up Tristyn, but she was gone. That's when 911 was called. After looking around the area for her and putting out messages on social media asking for help, Tristyn's dad was able to access her phone records. She had last sent a text message at 10:51 the night before to a 407 area code number. After speaking to multiple people, they suspected Tristyn had snuck out of the house. When interviewing one of Tristyn's friends, the friend told investigators that Tristyn may have been talking to a 22-year-old drug dealer named Carlo. While it seemed that it may have been a promising lead, after contacting him, investigators noted in their report that they were able to exclude him as having had anything to do with Tristyn's whereabouts. Another interview with a girl named Katerina gave investigators another lead. Katerina had said there was a video circulating on social media regarding a boy named Trey encouraging a girl named Lola to sneak out on the night of May 8th. Katerina said Lola then said she was unable to be out, but that Trey also contacted Tristyn and encouraged her to sneak out the same night too. When investigators contacted Trey, they learned that Tristyn had indeed gone over to Trey's house that night. Trey told them that Tristyn had then left his house with Aiden Fucci at approximately 1 a.m. In their interview with Aiden confirmed that he and Tristyn were at Trey's house and then left around 1. With the consent of his mom, Crystal Smith, Aiden then showed the deputies where he and Tristyn had gone after they left. He said they walked to North Durban Parkway, and then Tristyn turned and walked in the direction of her home. He said he then went home too and arrived between 3 and 3:30 a.m. Deputy Maloney was the officer conducting the interview. He questioned right away why it would take Aiden approximately 2 hours to walk home. It would normally be about a 30-minute walk. According to the police report, Aiden then changed his story, saying that he and Tristyn continued walking north along North Durban Parkway and then got into an altercation after Tristyn grabbed his penis. Aiden said he forcefully pushed her to the ground and she hit her head. He said he wasn't sure if Tristyn got up. He was dizzy from having smoked marijuana earlier at Trey's house. He said after that happened, he walked around alone for a while. Deputy Maloney read Aiden his rights, and Aiden declined to say anything else. He and his parents then requested an attorney. Another deputy, Deputy Kim Peluso with the Special Victims Unit, met with Deputy Maloney and told him that she, too, had talked to both Aiden and Trey. Both of them said Tristyn may have met up with a drug dealer in his 20s after parting ways with Aiden. Meanwhile, 2 Snapchats were circulating, one of a photo that eventually made its way into the hands of detectives. It was of Aiden Fucci in the back of a patrol car. Aiden had taken a selfie holding up a peace sign. Then a text banner reading, "Hey guys, has anybody seen Tristyn lately?" The Snapchat had been forwarded at least twice, and additional text banners had been added in response. One saying, "WTF, Aiden," and the other, "You were with her, Aiden. You know what happened to her." And then there was a Snapchat video that Aiden and Trey had taken from the back of the patrol car.
We're having fun in a f***ing cop car.
Yep. Tristyn.
What's up, guys?
Police believe they have found the body of Tristyn Bailey Sunday evening after she was reported missing that morning.
The body of Tristyn Bailey was found the day after she went missing, on May 10th, 2021. At 6:06 p.m., the sheriff's office received a call from a man named Daniel Hart. Daniel told them he had located what appeared to be a deceased female in a wooded area after returning home from a run. By then, news of Tristyn's disappearance was everywhere locally, and so he had decided to do a search himself. The body was later positively identified as Tristyn. She was found lying on her right side, with her head pointed to the east and her feet pointed to the west. She was wearing a black Victoria's Secret shirt with the word pink on the front, black Nike brand sweatpants, and black and white slip-on Vans. Her hair appeared to be matted and red in color, which appeared to be blood. She had multiple sharp force injury wounds on her hands, arms, neck, and appeared to have additional sharp force trauma injuries to her back, evident by the holes in her shirt. A coroner would later confirm that she had been stabbed 114 times.
There are 35 wounds, stab wounds and incised wounds, to the total of the head and neck region. There are 14 on the upper back and shoulders, 12 on the mid-back, and then 3 to the right lower back, right flank.
Where's there evidence that Tristyn Bailey had suffered defensive injuries?
Yes, there is.
And how many and where were those injuries located?
Largely on the right arm and hand, 22 on the back of the right hand, wrist, and forearm, 17 on the front of the right arm, and then 10 on the left arm, scattered more on the left.
And why are those types of injuries referred to by yourself and other pathologists as defensive injuries?
They're commonly seen in individuals as they're being stabbed or injured in an attempt to ward off the blade, protecting their torso, main body core with an extremity.
Crime scene technicians found a gold-toned ring, Tristyn's cell phone, a $20 bill, and a pink vape device in the immediate area. There was also a possible shoe impression within the wooded area, as well as a Powerade bottle by a nearby pond. Investigators were able to track down surveillance video from the night Tristyn disappeared. In it, at 1:24 a.m., 2 figures can be seen walking on the sidewalk past the main entrance of the Durbin Crossing North Amenities Center. At 1:45 a.m., another video from a nearby resident shows 2 figures walking east towards a pond. One of the subjects appeared to be wearing a light-colored hooded sweatshirt and a pair of white shoes with a black Nike swoosh. The second subject appeared to be significantly shorter than the first subject and was seen wearing a light-colored shirt and black shoes. Then, at 3:27 a.m., that same camera shows just one subject running west, away from the area of the pond. That person is wearing a light-colored hooded sweatshirt and carrying a pair of white shoes with a black Nike swoosh. Aiden Fucci was brought into an interview room at the police department, accompanied by both of his parents, Crystal and Jason. According to the police report, his parents told him several times to not talk about any involvement he may have had, also telling him the room was being recorded. They asked him some questions about it, which Aiden answered. Crystal also then told him that the girl was found in the neighborhood, down the main street. Adam asked, "Is she good?" Crystal said, "No, she's dead. That's why this is very important. It's all on you right now." Aiden responded with, "How is it my problem?" His parents told him that he was the last one seen with her. Jason asked him if he understood that this was a serious situation.
This is very serious. I mean, you can't act like I don't know. I don't know. You can't. And you can't.
You understand this is serious? Clearly, you understand, right? Mm-hmm.
Everything you say will affect you.
Crystal and Jason also told him the Snapchats he posted from the back of the police car was not a smart idea, and that they've been receiving threats because of it. Jason asked Aiden if he had any scrapes or anything on him. Aiden responded, "No, sir." Crystal asked him if he had told the police anything different, and Aiden said no. Aiden then explained he told the police that Tristyn probably got picked up by her drug dealer. He said Tristyn wasn't going to go home and was going to find someone to stay with. Crystal asked where Tristyn went after Aiden left her. Aiden said she probably kept walking. Jason interjected then and stated that Aiden pushed her down and then kept walking. Jason then cut himself off and said, "We probably shouldn't be talking in here." Then Jason said, "You walked away, you came straight home. You didn't turn back around to see where she went?" Aiden shook his head no. Jason then asked, "What were you doing outside that late at night?" Aiden said he was at Trey's house hanging out. Jason asked, "Did you kiss or do anything with this girl?" Aiden said he kissed Tristyn, but denied doing anything further. Jason then asked, "So your DNA is going to be on her?" Aiden didn't respond. Jason then said, "We saw your shoes were off on the camera. Why were your shoes off?" Aiden responded, "Because my feet were hurting, and those shoes give me blisters." Jason said that because of the Snapchat Aiden and Trey took in the back of the police car, people on social media believed Aiden and Trey had raped and murdered Tristyn. Aiden did not respond. Crystal asked Jason if Aiden was going to be kept with the police. Jason said he didn't know. There was no evidence that he knew of, and he asked Aiden if he knew of anything. Crystal asked Aiden if Tristyn really grabbed him and he pushed her. Aiden said Tristyn did grab him. Jason asked if Aiden knew what happened after he pushed her. Aiden said no. Crystal asked if Tristyn said ow or got mad. Aiden said Tristyn yelled out his name. He pushed her. He told Tristyn to F off, and he walked away. He said she probably walked off because she was no longer next to him, and he didn't look back. Jason asked if there was anything to worry about. Aiden said, "Mm-mm." Crystal then told Aiden their house was being searched. Jason asked Aiden why he was damp or wet when he got home. Aiden said he was wet due to water from a cup that he had spilled on himself. Jason pressed Aiden again on how he was wet. Aiden said he fell. A little later, Detective Thompson entered the interview room and requested Jason and Crystal's consent to collect a DNA buccal swab, photographs, and fingernail scrapings from Aiden. Crystal said they were going to wait until their attorney arrived. After Detective Thompson left the room, Jason and Crystal told Aiden that the police were requesting a DNA test to make sure that nothing was underneath his nails and nothing was on his body. Crystal said detectives were also going to go to their home and get the clothes Aiden had been wearing. Jason asked, "There will be nothing on those clothes, right?" Aiden stated, "No, sir." Crystal asked if Aiden wore khakis or blue jeans. Aiden said he had worn blue jeans. Crystal asked again if he was sure there was nothing on them. Aiden replied, "I don't think so. Why?" Crystal then gave Aiden a questioning look and whispered, "Blood." She then said, "When we looked on the camera, you were wearing khakis." Shortly after, Crystal asked, "Right?" Aiden then indicated yes. The deputy wrote in the report, quote, "This appeared to be Crystal attempting to convince Aiden he was wearing khaki pants instead of blue jeans, contrary to his previous response." Crystal then asked Aiden about the alleged drug dealer. Aiden told her he never saw this drug dealer and had only heard about him. Jason asked about a rumor going around that Aiden and Tristyn had gotten into a black car that night to get drugs. Aiden said he didn't. Jason asked again if Aiden kissed Tristyn, and Aiden said he did along the walk.
Leaving a 13-year-old girl by herself in the middle of the streets at 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever time is not smart, bro. Walking home with her in the middle of the night, that wasn't smart either. You stay away from females. Anything could happen. Did you kiss her this night?
Mm-hmm.
This last night?
Mm-hmm. Right, Trey's house. Mm-hmm. On the walk. I still see why you kissed her and all of a sudden she grabbed you and you pushed her.
Crystal said there that she didn't see why Aiden kissed Tristyn, then she grabbed Aiden, and then Aiden pushed her. Jason and Crystal both told Aiden to find his story and stick to it. They then told him an autopsy would be completed and what could be discovered during the autopsy. Crystal asked Aiden if he ever said why it took him so long to get home. Aiden said he walked around by himself, slowly looking at the stars. At some point, Detective Manning entered the interview room. and escorted Crystal, Jason, and Aiden to another room where their attorney was waiting to meet with them. According to the police report, then Aiden, Crystal, and Jason came back into the recorded interview room with a substantially more upset demeanor. All were sniffling and appeared to have recently been crying. Crystal reminded Aiden that the room was recorded and instructed him not to say anything. Jason and Crystal made several comments about Aiden not coming home that evening and spoke with detectives about where Aiden would be placed for the night and the next several days. In the report, the deputy wrote, quote, "Note, these comments were made after consulting with their attorney and before any decision was made or communicated to arrest Aiden." Aiden asked Crystal and Jason if there was a chance of him going home that evening. Crystal said they're going to search the house first, and if there's any kind of thing that links, then she said she doubts he's going to go home. Aiden then said that he knows he is staying there. According to the report, Jason could then be seen on video typing something in an apparent text application on his phone and then handing it to Aiden. Then he and Aiden continued to pass the phone back and forth several times. The deputy noted in the report, quote, "This appeared to be a means of communication between Jason and Aiden to subvert investigative efforts." Crystal then asked Aiden if he was high that night. Aiden said no, that he had smoked CBD, not THC, and that CBD doesn't get him high. Crystal then said, "I'm just trying to think if you did something stupid, maybe something made you do it, so that would justify it." Detective Thompson attempted to interview both Jason and Crystal separately. Neither would provide any info. Meanwhile, the evidence seemed to be stacking up against Aiden.
We actually have arrested a suspect by the name of Aiden Fucci, F-U-C-C-I, 14-year-old. He's currently in custody with the Department of Juvenile Justice, charged with second-degree murder.
On May 10th, 2021, investigators with the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office held a press conference to announce the arrest of 14-year-old Aiden Fucci. He was being charged with second-degree murder. 3 weeks later, the charges were upgraded to first-degree murder. He was transferred from a juvenile facility to an adult one and appeared via video in front of a judge.
So let me tell you what you are charged with. You have been indicted by the St. Johns County Grand Jury on the charge of first-degree premeditated murder. That is a capital felony that is normally punishable by up to death or life imprisonment. In your case, because you are not yet 18 years old, death is not a possible sentence pursuant to the Florida and United States Supreme Courts, but this charge does carry a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. Do you understand the charge against you?
Yes, sir.
As investigators continued with their investigation, they came across more damning evidence against Aiden. Clothing with traces of blood on them were found in his home. The knife that investigators believe was the murder weapon was recovered in a pond near the crime scene, and DNA recovered from Tristyn's body was a match to Aiden. According to the arrest warrant, 2 witnesses/friends of Aiden's provided sworn statements that the knife recovered from the pond appeared identical to a knife Aiden was known to carry. And then this, quote, "Both witnesses indicated the defendant stated on multiple occasions that he wanted to kill someone by stabbing them or slitting their throat." Additionally, one of the witnesses provided sworn testimony disclosing a conversation with the defendant, which occurred within the last several weeks, in which the defendant advised that he was going to kill someone, and the witness should expect it to happen within the month. The witness provided further testimony that the defendant stated if he were to kill someone, it was going to be planned. He would find a random person walking at night, drag them into the woods, and stab them. More details would later come out in court.
Ms. Bowman described that she and Mr. Fucci and some other peers, they were kind of into what she described as gore, what she described as horror, Horror. So they like to watch horror movies. They like to watch gory horror movies. So she commented about that. She also characterized that they all had what she described as dark humor. She said that she and Mr. Fucci talked a lot about things they saw on these horror shows and gory movies, that a lot of times they would discuss death and killing in the context of these types of movies, okay? But she went beyond that a bit. Her words were that Mr. Fucci talked about death and killing a lot. She gave a couple of examples when Mr. Fucci got really mad at her because she sent a picture of her in a photo with another guy that happened to be her sister's boyfriend or friend that was a boy. And she said that Mr. Fucci got extremely upset about this, and his reaction was to say he was going to kill that boy. She also gave an example of Zoffie Bowman asking Mr. Fucci, would you like to hang out with me and a couple of my guy friends? And she said that Mr. Fucci's response to that was to talk about how he was going to kill those two guy friends.
The witness also said Aiden talked about wanting to kill her.
And that he would sometimes do things to her, like take his knife out and pretend to stab her, or walk up behind her and pretend to slit her throat. Now, she indicated she wasn't scared of this. She wasn't scared of Mr. Fucci because she trusted him with regard to those specific acts. She also made a similar comment that I thought was significant, that Zoffie Bowman said, that's basically why Mr. Fucci no longer stayed at my house, because he talked about how easy it would be to kill me when I slept.
Meanwhile, a large memorial service was held for Tristyn Bailey. Thousands of people, friends, neighbors, and classmates attended and paid their respects. Family and friends spoke about how lovely of a person she was, how she was well respected and brought everyone together, motivated and encouraged the cheer team, a cheerleader for the cheerleaders, it was said. Words she had spoken as a new 10-year-old cheerleader were displayed on a backdrop in front of everyone. That's my squad. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us, because we're family. At one point, her father said, our love is greater than the evil that can exist in the world. About a month later, in June 2021, another arrest was made in the case. Tampering with evidence is tampering with justice and cannot be excused or tolerated. State Attorney R.J. Larissa said in a statement provided to Law and Crime. Investigators had come across video footage of when they first went to talk to Aiden at his home the day after the murder. After Aiden agreed to leave with them and continue their interview at the police station, someone in Aiden's house could be seen going into his room, getting a pair of his blue jeans, and then putting those jeans into the washing machine. According to the new arrest warrant in the case, during the course of the investigation, a witness confirmed that Aiden had been wearing jeans on the night of May 8, 2021, before Tristyn's murder. Investigators noted that Aiden didn't go home or change his jeans that night beforehand. They also wrote that he was seen on video surveillance during the early morning hours wearing jeans. And so when investigators obtained video surveillance from inside Aiden's own home, from the family's interior video cameras, they saw that after they left the residence with him on May 9th, his mom, Crystal Smith, went into his bedroom at 12:55 p.m., retrieved what appeared to be a pair of blue jeans, took them to the adjacent bathroom, and appeared to be scrubbing them in the bathroom sink. She was seen then taking the jeans into her master bedroom for a period of time. Then, quote, a witness can be observed from the video surveillance inside the residence at approximately 13:05 hours and appeared to have a discussion with the defendant. The defendant retrieved the jeans from the master bedroom, and both the witness and the defendant can be observed inspecting the jeans several times before the defendant returned the blue jeans back to the bedroom of Fucci at approximately 13:28 hours. The arrest warrant was for Crystal Smith. The witness who was in the house with her wasn't named, but it was noted that the unnamed witness later told investigators that Crystal had found a pair of damp jeans in Aiden's bedroom hamper. According to the warrant, both the jeans and the sink drain tested positive for blood. In September 2021, 4 months after Tristyn's murder and Aiden's arrest, he again appeared virtually for a pre-trial hearing. But this time, he began acting erratically. Even before the hearing began, Aiden could be seen rocking back and forth, looking all around, and mumbling something to the effect of, "Demons are going to take my soul away."
I don't let you demons take my soul. You demons want to take my soul away. I don't let you demons steal my soul. I don't know what's going on.
And what's going on? Why am I here?
Why am I here? I just want to talk to my mom and dad. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
The hearing ended up being cut short due to what the court said was technical difficulties, but it had reporters talking about what had been going on with Aiden. Meanwhile, Aiden's defense team filed several motions before trial. They asked to prohibit prejudicial emotional outbursts, exclude cameras from the courtroom, and block autopsy photos from being used as evidence. Another motion a few months later asked for a change of venue. The defense team had sent out a survey to members of the community, essentially asking how much they knew about the case. They also cited the community's response to Tristyn's death as a reason for the requested change, saying that there had been at least 9 separate memorials, vigils, and remembrances for her, all with light blue or teal decorations. Quote, throughout the community to this day, there are teal ribbons in remembrance of Tristyn Bailey. The ribbons are on display at restaurants, businesses, mailboxes, trees, and backpacks of local children. To each court hearing, family and members of the community appear in the light blue or teal-colored clothing. Then, in yet another motion, Aiden's team asked that he be removed from the Duval County Jail, stating that it doesn't have a juvenile wing and that he has been kept in a form of solitary confinement due to threats he had reportedly received from within the jail. They argued that Aiden had spent more than 400 days in solitary confinement, a punishment they said was akin to torture, despite the fact that he has yet to be convicted of any crime. Aiden's attorney, Rosemarie Wright Peoples, argued at a hearing.
The harm of solitary confinement is well documented, whether we're looking at psychology or psychiatry, that this causes a very real, very measurable harm on adults. It also is, that's what's within the exhibits are examples of different branches of science, of medicine, calling for the cessation of solitary confinement. Why? Because we know it harms adults, we also know it harms children. And these studies are looking at harms that exist after 48 hours of solitary confinement. This particular child, and yes, I know he's a defendant, an adult by the court's view, but this child has been sitting in solitary in his forms cumulatively over 400 days.
The St. Johns County Sheriff's Office responded.
I'm trying to follow the defense's position. They're essentially stating that they use the word torture, and in their version of torture, that means being kept in a facility where he's safe. I haven't heard anything, and I suppose there's an argument to be made that because he doesn't have more interaction with other inmates, maybe more rec time, that somehow that is a version of torture. I haven't heard an argument that suggests that putting him in another location or another facility would be any different, or his classification would be any different. The sheriff does agree with the defense's position on the law. In the defense's motion in numbers 12, 13, and 14, that is a correct statement of the law and the separation of powers of issue that does exist. But as far as this torturous, conditions that Mr. Fucci's currently residing in, the sheriff takes issue with that.
They argued against any transfer, saying that Aiden had lost the right to choose where he's held when he was indicted by a grand jury for first-degree murder. The judge denied the defense's motions, saying he would remain in the custody of the sheriff. Meanwhile, jailhouse reports surfaced about Aiden's behavior while waiting for trial. It detailed incidents of his behavior that had led up to his solitary confinement status. According to one report, another teenager housed in the jail said, quote, "Fucci been saying he gonna stab me up. He goes around saying we're all pussies because most of us in here for shooting someone and killing them. He says he's real because he stabs a bitch face to face and take their life. It's like he gets high off of it or something." Another report said Aiden was extorting commissary from another inmate by using fear. Quote, "They were not housed together, but Fucci was able to manipulate and extort inmates by threats and intimidation. Inmate Fucci did not have a commissary receipt to explain the abundance of commissary in his cell. The victims provided receipts and, words redacted, it was verified whom the commissary items rightfully belonged to. When officers entered his cell to obtain the commissary items back for the other inmates, he became highly agitated and made threats against the officers' lives. Inmate Fucci made threats to kill our families while beating on his cell door in a loud, vicious manner." Yet another report detailed a fight Aiden got into, saying Aiden had struck another inmate in the face. Officers broke up the fight using chemical spray. Afterwards, Aiden was placed in solitary, but he continued to be relentless in his threats against the other inmate's life. As Aiden's trial date approached, the evidence against him seemed to be very much in the prosecution's favor. In addition to everything that had already been released to the public, there was more. According to court documents, the prosecution was planning on presenting evidence that included jail calls, text messages, and possible testimony from more than 150 witnesses. In addition to that, a blade tip that was recovered from Tristyn's skull during her autopsy was similar in color, type of material, and pattern with the knife that investigators had recovered from the pond. Their report concluded that the blade tip and knife blade were at one time a single item. Since Aiden was being tried as an adult, he wasn't eligible for the death penalty, but if convicted, he could spend the rest of his life in prison. But right before jury selection was set to begin, in February 2023, Aiden's attorneys let the judge know that he wanted to change his plea and plead guilty to Tristyn's murder, and to say he was sorry.
I just want to say I plead not guilty. That I'm sorry for the Bailey family and my family.
Okay. I'm sure there'll be an opportunity, obviously, at sentencing hearing to speak again at that time. Okay?
Yes, sir.
The judge asked if he understood what he was doing and what medication he was on.
Are you under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol right now?
Yes, sir, my medication, but...
What type of medication are you taking?
Rimron, lithium, and Suprexa.
Is that medication prescribed by a physician?
Yes, sir.
And does that medication assist you in your ability to understand what's happening and going on around you?
Yes, sir.
Have you taken that medication today as prescribed by your physician?
Last night, sir.
Last night, is that when you were scheduled to take it?
Yes, sir.
All right. And is it in any way, shape, or form affecting your ability to understand what's going on here this morning?
No, Your Honor.
Do you feel clear-headed and clear-minded about what's going on here today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental health condition that could affect your ability to understand and comprehend what's going on today?
No, I don't believe so.
Afterwards, one of Aiden's attorneys noted that they had gone to the prosecutors several times with plea offers, and that each time they had been rejected by the state. Meaning this was a straight plea deal without any negotiations from prosecutors. In the lead up to his sentencing hearing, Aiden's text messages from jail were released. In text to his parents, he refers to his jail cell as his bat cave, and he talks about playing offline video games on his tablet. The sentencing hearing took place in March 2023. Psychologist Dr. Pritchard took the stand. He told the court that it was unusual that Aiden had told his girlfriend at the time that he had wanted to kill someone.
And it's different because he actually carried it out. Okay, he carried out that fantasy. He just didn't verbalize it. He verbalized what he'd like to do and that he would do it soon, and he actually did it, which suggests some rehearsing of that very kind of instance with Tristyn Bailey.
He said Aiden told his girlfriend that things were really difficult at home, that he didn't feel loved, and that he felt like he was least liked out of all of the family. He said his biological father was sometimes physically abusive. His girlfriend had chronicled 4 specific incidents where Aiden told her about how his dad had hit him and choked him. He said his mom wasn't a very good mother figure. Alexis Bailey, Tristyn's second oldest sister, also took the stand. 114, she said, as she proceeded to drop marbles into a glass jar, methodically and one at a time.
This jar now holds 114 stones, one for each of the 114 stab wounds that my sister had to endure. It was 1 hour and 42 minutes between when my sister was last seen and when Aiden Fucci was next seen, running out of the woods holding his shoes because his feet hurt. It's funny that such a simple statement can bring such anger. Aiden Fucci could show compassion for his sore feet, yet had nothing to leave for my beautiful sister.
She said the number of questions she has for Aiden about that night plague her. She looked directly at him as she spoke.
Did she see you coming at her with the knife? Or did you stab her while she wasn't paying attention? Did she scream out for help? Or was she paralyzed with agony? Did she cry for my mother? Did she beg you to stop? Did you hear her lungs gargling with blood? Or did you see it in her face when she realized she could no longer breathe due to her collapsed lungs? What were her last words? Did you stay to watch her die? Or did you leave her there in agonizing pain as you ran away? How long did she suffer? Did you watch the life leave her eyes? Do you know the answer to any of these questions? Or were you too caught up in the thrill of the kill?
She said she has nightmares about Tristyn leaving the house that night, to know that she was awake and only minutes away while her sister was being brutally murdered. Could I have saved her, she wondered. She said their family broke that day and that her parents believe they are failures. Tristyn's brother Tegan also spoke to the court.
Even things as small as a red cardinal bird will bring my day to a stop. There's an old wives' tale that when you see a red cardinal, it is someone from heaven checking on you. I can only hope that each one is a sign from Tristyn telling me she's still cheering me on. Yet they are each a painful reminder of what I have lost. They are each a reminder of how I failed Tristyn.
He pleaded for the court to give Aiden the maximum sentence, and he added one more stone to the jar.
I add this stone for the hope and belief I had in people being good that died the day that Aiden Fucci murdered my sister.
Brittany Bailey, Tristyn's oldest sibling, then spoke. She was on her honeymoon when Tristyn was killed.
I could express the sense of darkness and terror I felt just being over 1,900 miles away from my panic-struck family, feeling absolutely helpless that I could not search, comfort, or engage with my squad, as Tristyn would put it. I could even go into great detail about the blood-curdling and excruciating screams that ejected from my dad's lungs, the bottom of his lungs, while my husband and I sat on the other end of that FaceTime call, crumbling to the MGM hotel room floor, sobbing our eyes out, praying to God the news of where Tristyn wasn't our biggest fear. And if the court really wants to hear the most graphic of it all, I could tell you about the days to follow when I heard the fatal wail that bursted from my mom in the other room when Detective Hannon delivered the news to just my parents on how Tristyn died that Mother's Day. I wasn't even privy to the no at that point, but the crippling sound that my mom let out, I knew it was something unimaginable.
Tristyn's grandma, best friend's mother, and father also gave victim impact statements. Her mother gave perhaps one of the most emotional statements.
You have taken away my baby girl, my past, my present, my future, by your calculated, vile actions. I will never be able to watch her perform on stage with her cheer team. I will never see her win Summit or Worlds. I will never have our special weekends away, just the two of us. She will not be able to graduate high school or college. And her father will never be able to walk her down the aisle at her wedding.
Aiden Fucci's defense team also had the opportunity to call people to the stand. They called Raul Benasco, a prison consultant and jail administrator.
Of the 22 months he's been in Duval, pretty much he's been in some form of self-harm or protective custody for about 17 months. He's only remained in different stints of time, 5 months in general population.
And is it common for a juvenile that's direct filed with adult charges for that child to be in this form of protective custody?
Case by case. Sometimes what you do have is some of the younger population that, depending on the size, maybe their lack of exposure to the criminal justice system, they will utilize the opportunity to go into self-harm or might have a mental health crisis or even for protection from other circumstances, that they will utilize that as an option to get out of their circumstances. So it does happen from time to time, but it's case by case.
Dwayne Barton with the Department of Juvenile Justice also testified. He said his first visit was a wellness check with Aiden. It was to see if he had been involved in any fights or was being abused. He testified that Aiden appeared very anxious and indicated he was hearing voices. He made very little eye contact with him. He said he saw some old scratches on Aiden's arms. He continued to see Aiden every other month, and Aiden started to get more comfortable with him. They had a total of about 9 visits together. He said there were never any behavioral issues as far as his contact with him. Debbie Spiewak is Aiden's grandmother. She testified that his parents were divorced and both split their time with him. She said both wanted to spend time with him. She described Aiden as always happy, always smiling in pictures. I don't know what happened, she said. She said she loves her daughter, Aiden's mom, that she's kind and sweet. She said Aiden's dad has stayed in his son's life from the beginning and is a good man. On the night of the murder, Aiden was supposed to sleep over at his aunt's house and hang out with his cousins, but he never made it over there because he was still with his friends when his ride came. She said the only mental illness she knows of in the family is her own son, Aiden's uncle, who had depression.
So you understand what Aiden's here for?
Yes.
All right. Is that the boy you knew?
He's not the boy that I knew. I don't know what happened. I mean, he's always been good. I mean, so sorry. He has a good family, and we don't condone what happened, and we're very sorry for your loss. He's always been such a good kid, and I don't even know where that came from. I mean, he doesn't have any bad in his family or around him, or I don't know. I can't explain. I just don't know.
She said Aiden was never harmful to pets and was close with his little sister. She said she has no idea what happened. When she saw the news about the Snapchat videos, she said it looked like he was high on some kind of drugs, that it didn't look like the same boy she saw every day.
And what would you like to say to the court?
I just want to say to the family, I'm so sorry. I wish I could change what happened. And we pray for you every day. I pray for you every day. I pray for my family every day. And I just hope that you find peace somewhere, and just know that he has a good family, and we miss him. And we lost a child too. You know, he's I know there's not physically here, but he's here, and we just miss him, and wish this didn't happen. I don't know, you know.
She said she prays for the Bailey family every day. When it was time to sentence him, the judge said he considered all of the evidence, including the impact statements.
Mr. Fucci, having entered a plea of guilty to the crime of first-degree murder, I adjudicate you guilty of the premeditated first-degree murder of Tristyn Bailey. I sentence you to life in prison. Because of your age, you are eligible for review of the sentence in 25 years.
On May 12, 2013, nearly 2 years to the day that 14-year-old Aiden Fucci stabbed his 13-year-old classmate and friend Tristyn Bailey to death, Aiden's mom, Crystal Smith, pleaded no contest to tampering with evidence. Prosecutors and the Bailey family agreed to forego the trial. Judge R. Lee Smith, in the 7th Judicial Circuit Court of Florida, sentenced Aiden's mom to 5 years of probation and 30 days in jail. She can apply for early probation termination after 3 years. And that's all for this episode. As always, I want to know what you think about this case. You can let me know by finding me on Twitter at CourtJunkiePod, on Instagram at CourtJunkie, or by emailing me at podcast@CourtJunkie.com. If you'd like to hear these episodes without the ads, hear additional Court Junkie bonus episodes, or get access to our weekly court case newsletter, check out our Patreon options by going to CourtJunkie.com/support. And don't forget to check out our sister podcast, Civil. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.